I went to my 20th high school reunion, and a girl propositioned me for a threesome, and I didn't want to be rude. I, of course, declined, but I was thinking, I might date your daughter. I would date you, you pig.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, how dare you? I was kind of offended a little bit.
Yeah, I was wondering whether or not you were going to couch that a little bit, and you didn't. You really let fly.
I didn't mean she was a pig, you know. She just wasn't
you didn't?
looking.
I think I'm done with small talk in polite society. Maybe not at like parties and stuff, but definitely I'm not doing it anymore. Grocery stores, gas stations, anything like that. Just always.
What happened?
It never ends well.
What happened?
So I'm going to FedEx. Me and Pat got this meeting, and this woman behind the counter has this bandage on her finger. It's very thick and big. I said, "What happened?"
You're the one making the small talk.
So I said, I'm done initiating, because they don't want it. You know, people are droning on at their jobs. They don't want me prying in their business. And, it's more for me, really. It's a selfish thing because they seem so sad sometimes, you know.
You're trying to uplift their day?
Yes.
I don't think that's what you're trying to do.
What do you mean?
I think you're trying to find material for the show.
Hey, what's up, Freud?
You were saying?
I'm trying to... So... I go, hey, what happened to your finger? It's a serious wound you got there. And she goes, I cut it at work. And I said, are you going to need stitches? And she went into this diatribe. I mean, she sliced half her finger off. She needs surgery. It's going to be 7 months because she has to go through workers' comp. Ooh. She was trying to come up with the name of the company that is handing out the workers' comp. And I'm just sitting there thinking, I've got to go. And this was not meant to be this long. And you have that whole dance where you're looking at the credit card thing, and you're like, come on. Am I good to go now? Or are you still talking about how you're kind of fucked in life? So I'm just done. I'm not going to do it anymore. Same FedEx, actually. Maybe it's just this FedEx. I got into a little hairy situation where this guy had this, I've told the story before, this gangrenous thing on his hand. And I said, oh, what the fuck happened to your hand? And he said, I was born that way. Ooh. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to, I have to stop doing
What is going on with the limbs at that FedEx?
Yeah. The only time I ever felt bad for my father was when he... No.
Is this related?
Very.
Yeah.
We were doing wine tasting up in Santa Barbara, which has the worst piss wine ever. It was in this area with a bunch of wine tasting rooms. And I'd been there, frequented, but more for the scene, not for the quality of the wine. And I brought my dad up there with his girlfriend, Vera, and then my girlfriend at the time, Ashley.
Yeah, fans know Vera well. She's a snake.
Oh, big time. So
tried to hoard the coin collection, did she not?
Let's not get into that. We're talking about things we don't want to get into. So...
Is the coin collection stuff off limits? Is that?
Oh, no, we can talk about it.
Okay.
It would take us down a road.
Well tread upon.
I need a lot of time.
Yeah. No, the coin
Dylan
collection
deleted that episode by accident, so no one got to hear the coin episode.
Was it him or me?
It was him.
Oh.
But anyway.
I wasn't there.
It's
okay.
Okay.
Talk about his dad.
It's okay. Yeah. I did
I've forgiven myself for it.
I have too.
It's important to heal.
Yeah.
I have too.
Yeah.
So we're up in Santa Barbara doing some wine tasting with my dad, and he's a man of a certain age, obese.
And what age?
He's probably, let's see, he rolled 7.
Because certain age is very vague.
67.
I found most of the episodes I've lost months later, actually.
Yeah.
67, though, huh?
Yeah. And he ain't looking too good. And it was probably one of the last times I seen him. Yeah, he's obese and all that.
Yeah.
And he asked the girl that's doing the wine tasting that works for the place, He said, what happened to your hand? And she was a cutter, I could tell. There were those nice little... And she says, would you like your next wine, sir? She was rude.
Wow.
It was the only time I ever felt bad for my dad because she was very short. He was probably trying to make small talk, but also get to the bottom of why do you have 20 small marks etched into your wrist?
Yeah, I mean, she's very, very sensitive about that, I'm sure. But this is why
wear a long sleeve shirt, dear.
Well, don't be insensitive about that kind of thing. But this is why you can't engage in small talk with perfect strangers. it's too murky. It's like trying to run across the DMZ. You know, you could get through, but in all likelihood, you're probably going to step on a landmine or 4.
And he's talking about river or the demilitarized zone, not a river, right? Demilitarized zone?
Yeah, a big plot of land between North Korea and South Korea.
I just wanted to make sure people didn't get it confused with the upcoming Patreon show, DMZ, where Dylan will be hitting the pop culture issues of the day.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Hey, Dill, I had an example of small talk being thrown at me today, and I was a way better person than you.
Right.
So I showed up to
Was or are?
Was.
Okay.
I showed up to one of my accounts. It's this big hospital, and it's a fairly large water feature. I got to, turn some buttons, earn my pay, show up there, you know. And as I'm walking up to the thing, some woman, she's on her cig break from the hospital. She's got her, the scrubs on and whatnot.
Yeah, man.
She's by herself. She's an old woman, lonely, very lonely, it looks like. No one's having lunch with her.
Just sucking down cigarettes.
Like fucking Steven Glansberry.
I walk by,
like
and
Glansberry.
she sees me pressing some buttons, and there's some ducks swimming in the pond, and they're not supposed to be. And she goes, I wonder where those ducks come from.
Oh, my God. I mean, it's just unbelievable. What a stupid fucking question.
I have the same question. It's something I've never thought about. Great question.
It's what went through my mind. And
Which
cheers
one?
on that. Cheers on that.
Yeah, definitely not yours.
Which is, why are you talking to me?
Oh,
I have work to do.
Well,
here.
I'll take that back.
Right.
So I said, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then I turned my back to her.
Yeah.
And I went about my business.
Yeah.
And then I looked back. And she was just gazing at that water feature with the ducks swimming in it.
No one talking to her.
No. So then I doubled back because I felt bad because I might have been short. And
You
I
said,
was
you know
like,
what, actually, I do know where they come from.
didn't have an answer, but I had some small talk
Yeah.
to balance out, clean up my side of the street, not being a rude, cold bastard like
Right.
most Los Angelinos.
Did you
Right.
give him that flamingo little tidbit you gave us? I can't remember. Did he talk about flamingos?
Well,
one time?
everybody knows that they stand on one leg.
They stand on one leg. Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
but
But I that was not me.
Everybody knows that.
But I walked by her and I said, I don't know where they come from, ma'am, but they make a hell of a mess out of this goddamn water feature.
Right.
And she said,
Good one.
She says, yeah, the feathers are everywhere. And then she tried to keep up the conversation, but of course, I'm too busy to talk to her, but I engaged.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't do that anymore.
Right.
You have to let people be. But it makes me sad because I'm sure you feel differently. You're from podunk part of the United States, and as is a certain part of my family, and I love going back east because people wave to each other, even when you're on the road. A little 2-finger on the steering wheel, exchange pleasantries at Gopher Market. There are human interactions that are very, very important to have. It keeps you sane, keeps you empathetic, but in this Sodom and Gomorrah, I mean, you just can't be speaking to strange people. They have no fingers.
But it's a gamble, Dylan. You yourself came in here with a little pep in your step just last week.
Oh, it's the Adderall.
After talking to a little bit of the Adderall, but also this interaction you had with your Uber driver, which I bet started from small talk.
Anna from Guerrero, Mexico.
Anna from Guerrero, Mexico.
Yeah.
A conversation started small talk. You learned all about her life that she's building in the United States. And I was even fascinated by what you learned third hand. So you can't just quit because of one bad interaction.
Couple of things I learned. You cannot slaughter your own animals in your backyard the way that Anna does from Guerrero. She lives in Silmar. They have a bunch of chickens, and they just wring their necks and they eat the chickens. It's a felony in this state or in the city proper because you need to take them to butchers. Also, real birria, that food trend that's been going around. Everybody knows it's goat, much like people know that flamingos stand on one foot. But I didn't know that they stuff the fucking stomach with all the blood and innards and stuff like that, and then they roast the entire thing whole, and they chop it all up, and they serve it on tacos like fucking liver and shit like that. It's all fucking gross. I don't know that I'd eat that shit.
See, you learned all this from what? Guerrero.
Anna.
Yeah, and Anna. But I was also going to say, I, though, also would not end up in the position you're in, because a question like what happened to your finger, I don't have... I'm afraid to open that up. If people ask me questions, then I'll talk and we can get into something.
Right,
but I
right.
don't pry into other people's. I don't even like asking people what they do because like I used to like be.
It's so boring 95%
Oh
of
no,
the
I
time.
make hay out of it.
I personally like used to not be proud of like what I did for a living, like when I worked at Sports Authority or whatever. So like if someone asked me the question, I would be like, oh, I just work retail or something, someone I didn't know.
Right.
I don't want to make someone feel like that, even though most people are proud of what they do or don't care, or they're just like, yeah, this is how I put food on the table. But I'm not, it always makes me uncomfortable prying.
Perfect example of that. One of my wife's friends was meeting her boyfriend at the time, and I was like, so what do you do? And he's like, I work in marketing. And it was one of those, people have wondered if I'm autistic, and it was one of those exhibits where somebody might think that, because I just said, oh my God, that sounds so boring. And
I think that's a funny thing to say to someone.
he was extremely...
Well, no, if he doesn't understand Dylan's humor.
He was extremely offended. Did not speak to me for the rest of the night. I saw him, kind of whispering to the girl, like, that fucking guy.
My wife tells
Why
me.
did I say that to a perfect stranger? Oh my God, your career is so fucking boring.
I too am
Hot shot podcaster over here doesn't like marketing.
I too am is offensive with people I don't know, Dylan. My wife, she coached me up over the last couple of years we've been together. When we first met, I had the bad habit of meeting someone, and I'd be at their house and go, "How much did you pay for this thing?" Or "How much money do you make a year?"
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was inappropriate to
It
ask
needs
people
to
that.
not. We need to take the stigma out of that because they're important, kind of road
Well, I need to
marks.
judge you.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
See who you are.
How do I know if you're poor or not if I don't ask you how much you're worth?
Exactly.
And the secrecy of how much we make is really just it's started by upper management.
Yeah.
So us proletariat can't mix and be like, oh, you're
Yeah.
making this much, I'm making this much.
Yes,
Let's
exactly.
kill them.
Right. Perfect example at Adam Carolla. Nick didn't know this, but he was making $17,000 a year. Well, he knew that. He knew that.
28,000. Very coincidental. Kind of a good segue, actually.
Oh my God, that is a great segue. This is another podcast show. It's a show where we gab and goof about really whatever is
How
at top
were you
of
able to
mind.
feed yourself
I'm
on that
Dylan
salad?
Oh, I
saddled
stole
up
from
next
the
to
company.
one real Nicholas Davis, and Pat is over there behind my glasses. So,
Hey.
what Nick has brought in this evening is a
I mean-
very, very sad document that we need to get into.
But to answer Pat's question, I made about $33,000 when you count the Postmates put on the company
I
credit
think
card.
I saw that credit card. Yeah.
Well, I couldn't leave my home, so. But
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
finish that thought. Dylan found out I was making 17 grand, and he had been there 3 days and was making 5 times that.
Yeah, yeah.
That was sobering. But I ate some shit, and here I am. So,
Yeah.
anyways, what I did bring in, which is related, why it was such a great segue. I have a budget spreadsheet that I've been keeping.
Really quickly, hang on. You need to go to a fucking doctor.
I'm fine.
No, you're not fine.
How do you know?
Because I hear you, and I don't want to make it alert the listeners to what they may or may not have heard, but I'm sure so many have heard. It's just the throat clearing. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. It's constant. It's just this thing that you have in your throat that you need to go see an ENT about.
I don't think I do it that often to be noticeable.
It's been 12 minutes. You've done it 45
Have I
times.
really?
Yeah.
Nick, did you pick up on that too?
I didn't count 45, but it's been a lot. But I'm on the
number.
precipice of you guys yelling at me for stuff in my throat, so I'm not throwing stones over here.
Thanks, Nick.
But yes, what I brought in is
Disgusting.
my budget spreadsheet, which I've kept since 2000. I think this goes all the way back to 2012.
Wow.
And sometimes I'm like more on it, and I'm like putting everything in. Some months there's like gaps or whatever, but still all in the same spreadsheet. There's a tab for every month that I kept it up. So we're gonna take a look at what I used
How
to make
transparent of you.
in 2012 and 2016, and just see kind of how my budget has grown. Or not grown.
Now,
In
those listening, you could be wondering, oh, how could this be funny? This sounds really boring going through somebody's P&Ls, but remember, this will be sad.
because it's 12 lines.
Right.
These were your
exactly.
building years, Nick.
Yeah. These are the freshly unhoused years. Nick used to be homeless. Now he's living high on the hog, eating Campbell's chunky soup for a week and a half straight.
Hey, I do too.
Well, you do it for vanity.
Right.
And you don't eat Campbell's Chunky. It has too many calories.
Too
in
much sodium, dude.
It. Yeah.
Progresso all the way.
What'd you eat for your sustenance today?
A piece of bread.
Okay. What else?
I had an Impossible Burger.
Carl's?
Burger King makes the Impossible Burger.
Oh, excuse me.
Carl's makes the Beyond Burger. They're similar.
Yeah, I would argue that they are similar.
Burger King dances. It looks a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you looking at, Nick?
I'm trying to find it. Here we go.
You big BK guy?
All right.
Yeah.
I kind of lost the month I was looking at, but they're
Get
all pretty
the-
similarly
You get the
sad.
chicken fries? Huh?
Leave me alone.
Let's look what Nick got.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so
So-
a lot of numbers, a lot of figures.
We'll first look at the income. All
Okay.
right.
Oh.
Here's what I was getting from CSL.
Okay.
Now you may be wondering by what CSL is. Would anybody like to take a guess?
13, you were still back home. So you're working probably for a shoe store or something? Was that the the corporate letters for
Oh, is this when
Shoe
you were
Authority?
working for that that Supreme drop brand Chill Slaughter Laugh?
No.
It was like a hip T-shirt line.
No.
Chill Slaughter Laugh.
CSL is me going twice a week to give
Oh,
plasma.
yeah. Oh, plasma. Got it.
Oh, that's so sad, Nick.
I was
How many kids do you have?
I was still 25 years old and giving plasma for
Dylan,
money
note the frequency that he's dropping blood out of his body.
2 times a week.
So
The max.
So plasma is what? It's the yuck in the blood.
Yeah, it's something in your blood. It's like platelet rich, and they can return it to people who have different type of diseases.
Got it.
I don't know what they need for.
Got it.
I do know that I get $25 for my bottle of plasma that they give,
Right.
and they go and sell it for thousands.
Sure.
Right at the beginning of the pandemic, there was a call that, donating plasma can really help fund COVID research,
Right.
which was a lie that they put out. So people would then go donate plasma for free under the guise that they were helping, where they would make thousands and thousands
Brilliant
of dollars.
move. Yeah. Now, can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
You want to know why he paid $50 to see Anthony Jeselnik too?
We'll get.
I like Anthony.
We'll
Jeselnik.
get there.
I met him outside in the alley. He was smoking a cigarette. We were smoking weed. Great talk. He was super polite.
Yeah. So
He really took an interest. He
what?
felt like
well,
you were
that's
listening to you.
fake.
When you were talking. No, I swear to God.
I know you do, but it's fake. So
No, it wasn't.
I
He had no reason to be fake in that moment. It was in an alley.
I
could've killed
want
him.
to ask about the process of delivering plasma, and if it is as profitable or pleasurable as donating your splooge.
No, it's way, way less profitable than donating your splooge.
Right.
But the consequences, I feel, are much less serious in real life that you don't think about.
Oh, you don't want any of the crumb crunchers, rapping at your door when
Yeah,
they
they'll
hit
chase you down.
21.
I saw what happened to Vince Vaughn. I'm not gonna be
Well, that was okay.
the delivery man,
Right,
or
right.
that one doctor that
Our
brought
father.
that Pat brought in on
Well,
PMZ.
yeah, I mean, he was forcibly raping people through syringes, so you wouldn't be really doing that. But anyway, let's break it down. So, a lot of plasma for not a lot of
A
money.
lot of plasma. Made about 65 to 60.
Yeah, about $300.
260. I got extra $28. They must have had some promotion running this time. 'Cause
Yeah.
usually it was 20 and then 45, but only 40 if I weighed less than 170 pounds.
Right, got to beef up.
So I would go there wearing my backpack and try to weigh in, and if they're cool, they kind of give you a wink.
Nick, the people taking this blood have a Hippocratic oath. Did anybody at any time ever look at you and say, "Sir, this is so sad. Why are you here twice a week?"
Oh no, because there were much older and much sadder people than me. I had a backpack on. They thought I was a struggling college student.
Did
I was,
you,
and I was out of college, but
Did you try to have small talk with him?
no, actually I didn't. And I hate anytime I frequent anything, whether it be a convenience store, a gas station, and I go so often that they get to know me.
Yeah, it's a bad spot to be in.
And then you're forced to do it. I stopped going places at that point. That's why you have to mix up your convenience stores.
I see a payment for express payday loans. So
yeah, took a payday loan out.
Yep.
For sure.
I've been
How
there,
much?
buddy.
You could only get like 400.
Yeah.
That was probably it. I bet I got $250 cash, and then I paid $23, and that was a cycle that would last for 11 months until I I didn't have to pull out that $250.
I did that too. I did that too for a time when I was in between jobs.
And that's just pride because he didn't want to ask his mom.
Wow.
Yeah, well, she eventually had to come in and help because I was under quite a hill of debt. Because the interest rates are what, 75%?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to peel back the onion on that express payday loan that Nick pulled out.
Yeah.
Hey, it's so fascinating that both of you come from drastically different backgrounds, yet
Yeah.
you both ended up in the same place.
Well, not the same place. I never donated any bodily fluids. I mean, he had a much harder life than I did.
But that's what he's saying, and we're both right here.
Oh, right here. I thought you were talking about in 2013.
Well, you both took out high interest rate loans, predatory loans,
Again, his was pride. He didn't want to ask
Yeah,
his mother.
one necessity, one pride.
And so if you'll see my total income for the month, and I think I was getting paid bi-weekly, so I might have already accounted for my first of the check month, Meister check, which was a martial arts company in 2012.
Yeah.
Or in March. Anyways, get in the weeds. But yeah, I still did a lot of fun stuff. I went to an STS9 concert and did Molly for the first time.
Okay.
Fun, yeah, $40. That's a nice show.
What did I owe Robin Botcher money for? That's an interesting one.
Well, you know the last name. Food, $100 for a single month.
Oh yeah, and that obviously that I would every once in a while spoil myself and go to Chipotle or whatever. But I mean that $100 could stretch me quite a long time. Pasta, like I told you, with just Parmesan and garlic.
Right.
And their sister.
Yeah.
Man, good times. I would sneak into the college dorm, like dining
food,
hall.
yeah.
Dining hall.
Yeah,
Easy
the
move.
cafeteria. Yeah.
Easy move.
So the issue with this is that it's bumming me out so much
Yeah,
because of how gross and poor he was.
Yeah, but
back then.
look what
It's a
happened,
happy story, Dylan.
Yeah, no, it really is.
But yeah, so here's just a look back at my April 2013. Next time we do this segment in a couple of weeks, I'll show you my maybe like my 6th month in LA, like February 2016, where somehow my income went down.
Did you budget for when you were homeless? Did you have a because that I want to see.
Yeah, okay, let's look.
Well, not right now, but when
Let's take a peek.
next time we dig into your budget, I really would like to see the homeless years.
See, I think I didn't really keep the budget during this time. July 2015 is when I moved.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no, 2014.
Yeah, it'd be a good tease. We'll get into Nick's homeless years next time we dive into the budget.
A lot of people don't want to track their finances.
Yeah.
It's something about human nature, at least for most of us. We don't want to keep that checkbook. I remember my mom used to write all the deductions when with the paper checks and whatnot.
Right.
I got in the habit, and it's so helped me with spending. I force myself to open up my bank account and look at it every morning. Oh boy.
That's December 2014. When I was homeless, almost drove back home, went to Dumb and Dumber by myself on Christmas. Sad times.
Did you think about killing yourself?
No. Well, I've said this a lot. I've thought about killing myself. Like
yourself.
what would happen if you killed yourself. I've never planned on killing myself.
Right, exactly.
Dylan, when you're at the bottom, you're looking up. It's people want to kill himself. It's when you made it, and now you're thinking about going down. He had nothing.
That's a good point. Bernie Madoff.
Exactly.
Asher,
his son.
Well, so listen, this is hopeful, right? And it gives me a tremendous sense of optimism, but also a sense of horror for the generations that are coming up behind us. Because the other weekend, my wife and I had the perfect kind of night in Los Angeles. Went out to an early dinner with friends, 6:00, very nice restaurant.
Ah, perfect.
Then had an event to go to.
Oh, an event? That doesn't sound like fun.
Well, it wasn't fun, but it did provide some material for this show. And this show is a beautiful thing because it can turn really any macabre or schadenfreude thing that you're going through into content. So everybody start a podcast. Everyone start a podcast. And then after the event, we went out, got some drinks, and I was...
Once again, seems like a long night. It
was a long night. It was a fun Friday night.
Oh, okay. Seemed like the early dinner, going home and reading a book or drinking some wine would be more up your alley. Seems like a lot of social interaction for a person.
A lot of social
like
interaction.
To make small talk.
So, hey, would you shut up?
it was a valid question. I got a little. I missed a little bit of it. computer issues over here. What's going on here? You went out on Friday for a long time?
Long time, and it gave me a sense of dread for the generation that is coming up behind us, because while Nick was gross vagrant and almost a zombie, you know, he'd been metaphorically bit, but he sucked the venom out, right? These kids, I don't think they have the same kind of gumption. The event that we went to was a house party for one of my Magic the Gathering friends. A
Magic the Gathering?
It was not a Magic the Gathering gathering. It was a house show. So it was in the hills of Silver Lake, and they had 10 different bands come. Everybody paid a $10 cover, stuff like that. We got there with 15 minutes to spare, so we just walked in. But what we saw there was truly, truly horrifying. It was a euphoria party. It was children.
Teenagers fucking each other on drugs?
It was children.
Oh, I thought you guys were watching Euphoria.
No.
You told me it before the
No,
podcast.
this is what the show is based on. And, you know, I see the show and I go, oh, this is horseshit. You know, when I went to high school, there weren't transgender kids walking all over the place doing Molly and going to period A, you know. But now I fear it might be that, because this party we went to had on display what I'm sure is the generation that will finally push us over the brink into complete oblivion. Nick, do you mind tossing up the video that my dear wife Cecilia captured of this fine event? Now, this was a band called Rude Club, and at the end of every song, they played a drop. Pause it real quick. At the end of every song...
Is that you on top?
That is me on top. No, that is the lead singer of Rude Club. And between every song, they had a drop that would go, Rude Club, baby. And these kids were just going nuts. So go ahead and play this. This is what... These people are going to occupy the White House someday. Maybe not these specific kids, but...
Unfortunately, probably.
I mean...
I can't believe you were there. How did you get there?
We walked in and we walked out.
Who invited you there? Why are you there?
My friend Zamir, who I play Magic the Gathering with.
Right.
He's 24, but he just opened up his him and his roommate's home to this entire... Yeah, that's that's Rude Club, baby. Yeah. So
this doesn't seem that cool to me.
So you can cut it. Yeah, of course not. I mean, not only does it not seem cool, it seems horrifying, right?
The worst part of the night was after the concert was over, the DJ fucked Dylan's wife and
that
every
right?
other woman there. They were wet for him. Is that too much?
No.
The joke is he's just got these people under a tree.
Oh yeah, no, he's an Adonis, this kid.
Well, Dylan, it's just these things nothing's new anymore. These cycles, back in my day, the same age, we were doing all the bottle service stuff, and I had the same thoughts.
Yeah.
And then I completely bought into the world.
Yeah.
It's you go get your bottle service, you're behind some little area, all the girls are peeking there. Hey, why do those 5 people have the bottle of booze in front of them? I want to be over there.
Sure,
it's because they're financially irresponsible and horny.
Pretty
yeah,
much.
I mean, but the quality of music that these kids were bumping and jumping to, I mean, it really, really made me sad. But, these are kids being kids. What we did know that was that we needed to leave post-haste.
How many minutes did you spend total?
12.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
his name was Rude Boy?
The outfit is called Rude Club. Rude Club, baby. And if you want to give them a listen on Spotify, don't do it while you're driving because you will harm yourself and others.
Dylan, what was the average age? It seems like there's teenagers here.
Yeah, I think the average age was 20 and a half.
20 and a half. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Brought up significantly by me, my wife, and my friend Dusty being there. Now, Dusty and I play Magic the Gathering. We have Magic the Gathering gatherings with our friend Zamir, who is a little young, but he is 24, and he is really our shaman into this world. We don't really know Rudy of Alpha Investments. We don't have a prof in our life. Actually, pull up that video of Rudy real quick. I know that you guys shit on Magic the Gathering, and I'm not going to get into it. But when you have somebody like Rudy, and I understand that he's at the the palm or the tips of our fingers now because of the Google machine, but it really does have. It helps to have a young buck who's been playing the game for a long time, kind of teach you the ins and outs of deck building. Trimming the fat, what you need to have. But Magic the Gathering is just so much fun. I mean, take a listen to this. How can you not love this? He's cracking VIP packs, double masters. Check this out.
But I do want to
Clean
say
fingernails.
Yeah.
about Samir.
Yeah, Zamir.
Z?
He cuts his fingernails a little too short.
Yeah. He's a Hindu, Zamir.
There's so many different type of YouTube videos I could do where I'm holding stuff, but I don't like my thumb, so it's not for me. It shouldn't be for him either.
Yeah,
he should hire a hand model.
I have toe thumbs. I would never do that. He has toe thumbs too. Look at them. They're disgusting. They look like little chimpanzee thumbs.
But Zamir, it's so interesting because like you and Dusty, you're not like nerds like we've watched the video on Nerds, but like you're
we're not hosting the Shardcast podcast.
Yeah, but you are like I feel like a more typical 34-year-old who would play Magic the Gathering. You're not going to clubs and bumping. But now Magic the Gathering, for like the younger crowd that's playing it, it's like the cool kids. He's having a fucking party in his backyard with Rude Club and playing Magic.
Now listen,
no,
listen to me. You have a gross misunderstanding of this. The children who are at Rude Club.
But I'm saying you can be cool and play Magic. I'm saying
Zamir is cool and does play Magic. He's yes, but the people that were there were not Magic players. Got it. Okay, sorry.
It's not a Magic the Gathering.
No, it's not a Magic the Gathering. But the reason why Zamir and Dusty and I have so much fun is because of what you're about to hear from Rudy right now. I mean, imagine cracking packs. You guys don't even know the fucking dope hit you get when you crack something big in a pack. I mean, listen to this.
All right, here we go. Master of Ethereum.
Nothing really to write home about, man.
Oh, baby Sacagawea on a Wednesday morning taco special.
I mean, he pulls a force of will. I mean, that's absolutely huge. That's like a $150 card right there,
Who has a taco special on Wednesday morning, the night after Taco Tuesday? I'll clear my throat.
Keep it going because I want you guys to hear him get to the mana crypt because he comes.
Metal and Mage, disappointment, and oh my god. Oh. Are you kidding? Dude, this is the time I wish I had a camera on my patron.
Yeah.
You hit a flippin' force of will and a mana crypt in one. Oh.
You can stop it.
Oh, God.
People are really passionate about this stuff.
What? So you could just touch these things with your hands? Why?
Well, I mean, something like that, a $300, $400 card should immediately go into a Dragon Shield sleeve and then into a hard sleeve.
I wouldn't even be breathing, let alone coming all over it. That was insane.
Yeah, he is coming. He is coming.
Dylan, you want to know why the world's going to be okay? I always discuss this with you because you're younger than me.
Yeah.
Haven't lived the life that I have.
And I don't believe you when you say the world's going to be okay, but
there's always balance in the force because while there was some pretty 20-year-olds that are trying to either copy the show Euphoria or maybe they inspired it,
right,
doing ecstasy, half of them will probably roll sevens and overdose on fentanyl by the time they're 23 and a half. There's nerds.
Yeah.
There's balance in the force.
Right.
While they're
balance
doing that,
in the force of will.
There's people at home. And I guess they bought a deck of, what are these made out of, paper? With words on them?
Don't be patronizing.
Okay. They're geeking out on it.
Yeah.
The world will be fine.
Well,
it takes all types.
I'm glad that you said that because you have gone through what I went through last weekend. And, you always say one of the markers of getting older is phasing out of Saturday Night Live.
Right. What a Segui he's got coming up here.
We're killing on the Segui.
So you have witnessed this many times over because of your age.
Well, let me tell you something, Dylan.
A lot of rings.
The audience sees me on these YouTube channels.
Yeah.
And they can't believe my age. They can't believe the energy that I still have.
The vitality. The Botox, yeah.
I'm hanging out with younger people.
Right.
I am.
We're about to be phased out.
Well, yeah, no, he sucks us dry of our vitality so that his face can look clean.
He's like, hey, can I get Samir's number?
We both add to each other's lives. I have outpassed or outlived in the cool factor people that were, when I was like, by the time you're supposed to be lame and irrelevant by the time you're 27 in Los Angeles. As far as,
you're supposed to be either irrelevant or dead, tragically still relevant.
From a creative or cool factor. After that, you start, most people from their hometowns and the filthy, yucky normies, they're already shitting out kids and possibly on their second marriage by 27, you know?
Right.
But I remember going like, the 21-year-olds, when I was 27, because I was on that band circuit, they'd be looking at me as the old guy taking my amp off the stage.
Right.
Okay. Well, those people all have gray hair now and are fat, and I basically am still cool.
You won.
My point.
You won, yeah.
I won.
Right.
I have like 3 generations where I'm still cool. I told you I went to my 20th high school reunion, and a girl propositioned to me for a threesome, and I didn't want to be rude. I, of course, declined, but I was thinking, I might date your daughter. I would date you, you pig.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, how dare you? I was kind of offended a little bit.
Yeah, I was wondering whether or not you were going to couch that a little bit, and you didn't. You really let fly.
I didn't mean she was a pig, you know. She just wasn't
you
good
didn't?
looking. No.
No. Oh, okay. It was just a matter of speech.
But one thing that I plan on doing, Dylan, is I try not to be an old man like you're slowly becoming, like grandpa, starting to judge the young kids. You know, one thing I do to combat that is I listen to New Music Friday.
Okay, well, Pat, okay.
I do think us and the audience are aware that you listen to New Music Friday.
And I hang out with you guys.
Yes.
But
we're about to be phased out.
How old are you, Nick?
34.
Oh, you're already out. How old are you?
31.
All right. Well, I enjoy podcasting with you. All right. Let me get to my point. You were Segui.
But socially, I'm out.
No. I'm just kidding. I'll hang out. You're still cool.
I'm cool. I'm cool. I'm like,
did you hear that?
I'm the Pat of
I was
us.
clearing my throat to talk to me.
Well, of course. Yeah, I know.
All right. So, Dylan, as you were setting up, one of the markers for being an old man like you're slowly turning into is that you hate Saturday Night Live.
Yep. I'm not there quite yet.
You're not.
You don't.
There's a guy that does
I
Donald
don't hate
Trump.
Saturday Night.
And
he's phenomenal.
Holy smokes! Have you heard this guy?
I'm gonna send Nick one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Ugh, I don't want to speak in hyperbole like that.
It's not what we do.
There's this guy that does Joe Biden and he does Trump. And if you're like, you don't want to watch Saturday Night Live because you are politically leaning, he makes fun of both.
Yeah, he's great. That guy's great.
That guy is insane. And I heard him on this podcast called Fly on the Wall with Dana Carvey and David Spade. And they did a live show with him, and it was phenomenal.
Can you hold for a second? Because I really do want to get this up for you, because I found this guy on the Podcast But Outside podcast, which is a very funny idea and concept, but they're very funny guys. Check them out. I just sent you the tweet, but they were friends with this dude before he got SNL, and I saw this clip of him on this show, and I was like,
James Austin Johnson.
who the fuck is this guy?
He's like Kyle Dunnigan level.
Listen to this. This is unbelievably funny.
It says yes. Okay. James?
It's all fake news. It's bad and it's fake news.
Holy shit, Trump?
Hello, Podcast Outside. How is everybody? One of the worst deals we've ever had to shut down and not be able to do trick-or-treating because of Joe. It's because of Joe.
But Joe's not the president. You are.
How many times did they get to do Halloween, Joe? How many? You never let anybody do Halloween.
This is the first Halloween we haven't really had, and you're the president.
Well, I'm the president, but I'm not a politician, okay? So I'm doing business. I'm a businessman. So we're not doing president. We're sort of doing, doing president, but we're not really doing president very much. Frankly, when Obama, by the way, did coronavirus, he did a terrible job.
Obama never did coronavirus.
He would eat a big bowl of bats every morning.
What?
He'd get the bat AIDS, and then he'd have the coronavirus.
No.
And he did terrible with it. He never got over it.
No. That's
Died
not
like
true.
20 times. And he get the paddles and everything.
He died.
God.
Obama died. He died and he's dead.
Dead now.
All right.
Just the guy is unbelievable.
That's from a couple years ago.
a couple years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's refined.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that clip does justice to what this guy's done.
He's very, very loose with the. It's a perfect impression because it has the voice enough, but then it gets loopy with the actual
So
character.
fun. All right. So how did that even come up? Oh, Saturday Night
Well,
Live.
he
Oh,
was
just-
on the podcast.
One of the
yeah,
bright
yeah.
spots.
Okay. So there's this podcast I'm listening to called Fly on the Wall. And they don't have a lot of reviews yet. And I can't believe it because it's Dana Carvey and David Spade. And I think that they'd have, more of a presence in the podcasting landscape. But obviously I've discussed this ad nauseum.
And that's the wrong word. But they have people that don't know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Right.
I one time went and talked to Dana Carvey's two sons about him starting his podcast. Got paid for consulting.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. When talked to they both look exactly like him, and they do stand up.
I've seen them live. They opened for their father.
Way better to do that than donate plasma to get money.
Yeah, they got a bunch of different projects coming up. Dana was talking about that on this podcast. Sons are hanging on to those coattails.
Yes, as they should. If I do comedy,
should,
I mean,
yeah.
what? I'm not gonna
So-
change my last name.
All right, guys, if you're looking
Like
for
Nick
a different
Cage.
kind of podcast where you want
Dana
to
Hartman.
maybe I think we should always switch up our podcast because I'm sick. We work for Adam Carolla. I'm sick of listening.
I
to
don't
him.
work for Adam. I'm kidding. Well, listen to music. Stop
Or music.
listening to podcasts.
Yes, listen to music. Split it up and don't get it all into all the political shows. So I'm listening to this Fly on the Wall where it's not all about Saturday Night Live, but of course because it's Dana Carvey and whatever Spade,
Reminiscing.
they're gonna reminisce a lot.
Reminiscing.
They had this guy on who I'd heard the name before, but had no clue kind of how he fit into the lore, even though I had like a Saturday Night Live book and what have you. His name's Jim Downey.
One of the unsung heroes.
He was there from year one, went all the way up.
Pre-Lorne.
No, Lauren was from the beginning.
He stayed in. He was there in the
I
Lorne.
thought- I
No,
thought
Lauren
Lorne-
started. Lauren left for a year in like.
Oh, Lauren
1979.
left for
He
a
left
year.
with him,
He left with him.
and then they came back.
Oh, wow.
And then he got fired in 1997 because he was writing with Norm Macdonald, and they kept doing so many O.J. Simpson jokes
Right.
that someone affiliated with the show kept bugging Lauren like,
Don
"You did-
Ohlmeyer.
That's it. All right, what connection did he have with the show where he was?
He was the president of NBC.
NBC.
All right, he's friends with OJ,
Yeah.
and he said cut it out. And they took a little break, and then they just walloped OJ Simpson
Right,
again.
because when you're trying to be funny, you choose the funniest thing you can do.
Right.
And the funniest thing you can do when a suit tells you not to do it is to do it tenfold.
And they did it.
Yes.
They said they were averaging 2 O.J. Simpson jokes in the Norm Macdonald news segment
Right.
per episode.
Yep.
And that drove them nuts.
Right.
And of course, we were all laughing because it was really funny.
Well, I was in-
And then they got fired. And he was, Jim Downey was head writer at the time. And then he took a little break, like 4 years, and they hired him back. And he says, I'll come back. I just want to be a writer, which is kind of uncommon. You were the head dog like Adam McKay or some other people, and then you're going to say, no, I just want to just write for the show. And
Yeah.
And he wanted to work from home too because he had children at the time. Anyway, he was on the podcast, and it was like 2 hours long. It's so fascinating, the journey and all the fun little stories. So I highly recommend Fly on the Wall. But one thing that this guy, Jim Downey, talked about was he wrote a bunch of famous sketches throughout the years, one of which was called the Chippendales audition. And I think this is like 1990.
Very, very famous.
People would vote it like top 10 sketch on Saturday Night Live ever.
Yeah, Chris Farley probably has 6 out of the top 10.
I think that's possible.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, Dana Carvey with Church Lady. We got a bunch of Phil Hartman stuff. We got Will Ferrell, of course. We
Maybe
could spread it
4
around.
out of the top 10.
Basically, never watch full episodes of Saturday Night Live. Go search out the best ofs of
Yeah.
Will Ferrell, Chris Farley, Dana Carvey. You're just gonna have a blast.
blast.
Everybody-
Funny
all
wall to
classics.
wall.
I agree with you, Nick. So as I was listening to his podcast, one mistake, he's been retired since 2012, Jim Downey did. So Saturday Night Live had prohibited YouTube from just posting random clips for years.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think they finally figured
Brilliant business decision.
they finally figured out they're going to monetize it. And now a bunch of clips are up there.
Sure.
And so Jim Downey was like, let me check out one of my sketches that I wrote
Yeah. What a bloodbath.
in 2020.
Right.
Now, the sketch, Chippendales audition, which I remember watching it real time. I was probably like 16. I'm going to say as much as I hate Saturday Night Live now, it totally shaped my sense of humor as a kid.
Yeah.
Like most of us. And it was especially this era, probably like 87 to 2000, and then I started checking out.
It's an institution for a reason.
It is.
It's funny we have the same window, except I started like 93 to 2000, though. It's like we both stopped at the same time.
You did? Why'd you stop in 2000?
Same. I don't know. It's just, and I'm not like, oh, SNL is so horrible. Like every once in a while, there's a good sketch,
Sure.
but I inevitably hear about it. Someone will send it to me. Other than that, I don't need to see it.
I didn't ever really. Are you guys saying you watched every week?
Oh yeah, religiously.
Did you watch every week?
Never. There was maybe 7th, 8th grade. I would watch Mad TV and Saturday Night Live every week. I was flipping back.
I
and forth.
watched the best of Chris Farley DVD, best of Will Ferrell DVD. That's really it.
So because from my parents or my mother, she didn't care. So I was 12 years old, staying up on a Saturday night till 1 a.m.
Right.
when all the really bad sketches would air. And then I would go into school, in the 7th grade, and I would do Hans and Franz, and the kids didn't know I was just stealing the material.
Right. You're just crushing.
Yeah, I was crushing.
Right.
I would have people in tears.
Right, crushing.
So back to this. So Chippendale sketch. So what I thought might be interesting is we'll play. It's mostly music. It's by the way, 6
Everybody
minute 20
knows.
second.
Everybody
Well,
knows
play
it.
the top though. Play the top. And it's the idea is Chris Farley and Patrick Swayze are both auditioning for. There's only one position in the Chippendales organization, and they have people critiquing them because they're gonna only hire one. So they go through this whole dance thing, and then they pick Patrick Swayze, and then they have to explain to Chris Farley why he came up short. So we'll just play the top because I think it's really funny because Kevin Nealon is amazing in this too.
This is impossible. Can't we just hire them both?
No, we've been through this. We've only got the budget for one dancer.
Yeah, but they're both so great, I can't decide between them.
Well, that's our job. That's what Chippendale pays us for.
I know, but these guys have been through hell. A 5-hour audition.
So Canadian.
3 callbacks.
Well, look,
All right, so we won't have the audience. What the problem that Jim Downey, a mistake he made, was this would be in like People's magazines in the 2000s, like funniest sketch ever. So I think Jim Downey was going there for he's in retirement now, maybe a little bit of like we all need that little shoot up of serotonin in our brains of people saying how fucking funny we were.
A little heroin high, yeah.
Talking about your old fastball.
Yeah.
It used to be fast.
Yeah.
And it used to be a ball.
It turns out in 2020, the Chippendale sketch is viewed through a different lens. So Jim Downey talks about going down the comment section, and it was 9-1 as far as 9 people hated it and thought it was inappropriate and disgusting per every one person that loved it.
I can't wait to see it because I'm like shocked. I remember seeing that. I don't even know what was in here that could a little homophobic. Let's see.
No. It's about. You really want to watch it?
I what part is homophobic? Like what is
It's
the
not
problem?
No, it's not
It's fat
homophobic.
shaming.
It's fat shaming.
Oh,
This is the insane thing about this kind of sensitivity. And listen, everybody's going to grow, however, at whatever rate they're going to grow, and they're going to realize that what they used to think when they were younger is insane. But to me, this is just fat empowerment. This is somebody being body positive. This is somebody having enough confidence in their beauty to step alongside Patrick Swayze and go toe-to-toe with him.
There's
nothing offensive about this at all. In fact, it's beautiful and fat.
the fact that Chris Farley even made it that far
Yes.
with that type of figure shows how progressive this sketch is.
Yes, and how progressive Chippendales was being at the time, welcoming somebody with his disgusting body into the fold. No pun intended. So lesson for this whole thing. Don't have small talk with people.
Oh, right.
Embrace the nerdy side in you, wherever it is. You gotta have something in there, right? Because it's honestly, it's a good thing. Nerdiness is it's sad, but it's an optimistic thing. And also budget. And when you're shooting your shot, just fucking shoot it. Don't jump in the comments. Just shoot your shot. Put it out there and see what happens, just like Jim Downey did.
What are you looking at, Nick?
Sorry, I was trying to look for a similar example that probably wouldn't be looked on too kindly because Danny DeVito in this Friends episode shows up as a cop stripper. And he strips, and the joke is, oh, look at this fat guy's body. He'd
Right.
never be a stripper,
But
which
Phoebe's
is
into it.
disgusting. Right, guy? Oh, no, it's progressive.
So that's it for us. Jump in the iTunes ratings and reviews. Leave 5 stars, kind words. We'll see you on Patreon for a free one of these every single week. Until next time, I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Oh, and join us on YouTubes. Check out the YouTubes. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Nick, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Pat, say goodbye.
Later, dudes.